Afternoon to all of you. I'm Robin Hood, CEO of Robin Hood Company. I want to welcome you all to this press release today. We are going to cover very important topics today because our company is going through severe changes. Via this press release, I would like to inform you all and inform all the stakeholders up front about our strategic planning. So the current situation I would like to briefly cover right now is given by the number of the Merryman that is actually increasing. So we are hiring more people than what we can actually afford to have. The number of customers is decreasing, so we are having less and less buyers. There's insufficient food capacity, and we can't deny this anymore. There are insufficient revenues, which are really undermining our current position on the market. Conditions of poor are worsening also, and competition forces are increasing. So this is the basic overview of the current situation that I would like you to be aware of. Moreover, this data comes from the current financial analysis. Indeed, we have an annual decrease of the revenues of 20%. That is something quite relevant. We are increasing our staff cost by 20% also. And finally, we are expecting to have a growth rate of 38% in order to keep up with the actual conditions of the market. So the company today needs to change. And the key factor of success for us is alignment. Since we are having 3 different divisions here, marketing, HR, and finance, we need to be aligned amongst ourselves and obviously keep always in mind our goal. This won't be an easy situation for any one of us and any one of our stakeholders and shareholders. So basically the mission is now making the forest a preferred destination by creating a quicker passage for our customers, and also we want to ensure safety and provide value-added service through our toll road. So basically we are really focusing on changing our strategy towards the market in order to constantly maintain our payback to the full city. This is our first goal and something we always have to bear in mind. Together with the mission, we have developed a completely new vision for our future perspectives of growth. Therefore, we want to bring a better life to Nottingham citizens by creating a poverty-free community. By having mentioned our new strategy already, so the new toll road which we are going to build through our forest, I would like you to be aware and to take a vision, a look at our new toll road. So this road will be built through the wood in order to guarantee a safe passage through the wood itself. We're also going to have a Robin Inn tavern in the middle of the wood that will help us sustaining our own business. Concluding, I would like to leave the floor to my colleague today. We do all understand possibilities for serious and severe ramifications, but still we want to ensure a strong cohesion amongst ourselves, and that's why we have been working together within our departments and amongst our different departments also. So that's why I'm gonna leave the floor to my colleague.
So as you can see, this is the new company structure. You can see we will take a centralized approach. This way Robinhood will have all the control of what's happening in the organization. You can also see that Little John is now the newly appointed CFO, and he will take care of all the financial operations of the organization. And we also appointed, as mentioned before, there are different departments right now. We have the HR manager, the HR manager will take care of all the incoming Merrymen and all of the trainings that need to be done. Also, we have the toll road / marketing manager, and you will take care of the building and the maintenance team, as well as the patrol team. There's also the Sherwood Forest manager, and the Sherwood Forest manager will take care of the robbing team. So this is all very clear. You can see we're just divided in different departments, and each department has its respective key lieutenants. So since there are different functions within the new organizational structure, the Merrymen will have all the requirements needed they have all the requirements that they need to meet. There will be a selective hiring process done by the newly appointed HR manager, of course. As you can see, for the toll road construction worker, you can see for yourself a very good physical condition is needed, ability to work under orders. A construction worker needs to be flexible, reliable, and have attention to details. For the toll road patrolman, of course, very good physical condition, ability to work on the orders, which is logical, and ability to ride on horses, since the patrol team will use horses to protect the road. And of course, a toll road patrolman needs to be flexible as well. For the robbing team, very good physical condition, ability to work on the orders. You have to have great communicative skills and an ability to use weaponry, of course, because that's something that we're going to use, and also good knowledge of the weaponry. So what's next? How are we going to do this? How are we going to organize all of these Merrymen coming in? Well, because the toll road and the construction of the toll road and the construction of the Rob-In Tavern, it will require a lot of manpower. So that's why we thought it is good to have 60% of the Merrymen working in the toll road department, and 40% of the Merrymen working in the Nottingham robbing department. As for the management by objectives, the CEO will provide support to the organization as a whole, and very important as well, keep the customer satisfaction rate very high. As for the CFO, Little John, the break-even should be reached in year 4. The HR manager needs to know that the amount of Merrymen hired should not exceed the increase of 10% per year, and the Merrymen applying should match the employee profile that I just mentioned before. As for the key manager of the toll road and the marketing manager, the amount of travelers through the road will increase by 12.85% per year. They also need to make sure that there are no implications on the toll road throughout the year. As for the key manager of Sherwood Forest, the amount of robberies will decline by 30% per year, and of course you have to make sure that the Merrymen do not get caught during any of the robbing activities. As for the Merrymen working in the toll road departments, for the patrol team, there should be less than 5% of incidents happening on the toll road, and they have to make sure that every customer pay the toll road fee at the entrance. And for the building and maintenance team, the construction of the toll road and tavern should be finished at the end of year 0, and if there are any defects on the toll road, it should be fixed within 1 day. The plan in the Sherwood Forest, each Merriman should reach the yearly target of the robberies. So now I leave the floor to my colleague.
So how are we going to implement this strategy? We developed a product development strategy, which is a strategy that focuses on our company's growth by developing a modified product. The product is a service. We offer safety for customers that cross the road. The strategy for the price will be a skim pricing strategy, which means a high price because we have few competitors in the markets and we have a high competitive advantage. Our service will only be offered in the forest, and we will promote our products by the promoters of our company ourselves. The new strategy is going to improve our competitive advantage because of the increasing differentiation in comparison to our competitor. As you can see from the figure, our robbing activities are going to decrease, which leads to a decrease in competitive advantage and market attractiveness. Also, the competitive advantage and market attractiveness of the toll road are going to increase. Our net marketing contribution. For the net marketing contribution, we made a distinction between the robbing activities and the toll road activities in order to assess the contribution of marketing. So by looking at the robbing activities, as you can see here, we can see that the market share will decrease, and we are not planning to change the attractiveness of the market since we gradually slow down our robbing activities. The margin per customer has been calculated on the basis on the amount of stolen money subtracting by the cost per robbery. The net marketing contribution of the toll road. The market share will increase because more people are assumed to go through the forest by choosing not to be robbed. The market demand is not supposed to change. The margin is increasing due to the fact that the cost of maintenance will vary according to the amount of customers passing by. The amount of customers passing by will increase, so the maintenance on the road also will increase, but we assume that the revenue the customers will bring us is higher than the maintenance of the road. Finally, we are assuming a gradual decrease in the fixed marketing expenses since we expect a high word-to-mouth rate that guides people through the forest via the road. Well, how are we going to implement this plan? As we already know our current situation, we have to be realistic. We have to make sure that this marketing plan is implemented on the perfect basis. So, how are we going to do this? We will focus on increasing the ownership of the plan. We are going to support it as most as we can, and we will adapt it to the change in the environment. Now I will leave the floor for the finance CFO.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Yuri Wolters, the CFO of this organization. Well, as we can see in our current financial situations, there are three main problems. This is the annual decrease in revenue of 20% and the annual increase in staff cost also of 20%. If we still continue to operate on the way we do now, we get a huge revenue gap. The result is that we need an annual revenue growth of 38% in order to sustain the dividend payout. For our new robbing activities, this will still remain our primary source of income. However, it will face an annual decline of profit by 30% as more people will eventually choose for the toll road. In the financial year 5, eventually the toll road, the robbing activities will account for 1/3 of the total profits. The only cost of our robbing activities are the merrymen and the resources, which are weaponry and armory. For the toll road, in order to set up the toll road, we need an investment of 20,000 Nottingham currency. This will be provided by the barons. They will provide us with a loan of 20,000 NC against the interest rate of 2%. The revenues will start off small, but are forecasted to increase at an average of 30% per year. The involved costs in this operation are the maintenance of the road, which is a variable cost that will rise when more customers will enter. We also have the merrymen, interest costs, which are 2% of the total loan, which will decrease over the years as we will pay out our loan annually. This will be the amortization cost, which will be 49%. And eventually we also have the tax cost of 20%. And it is estimated that in year 5, the total toll road profits will be 60% of the total, so it eventually will become the primary source of income for this organization. A side business of this toll road is the Rob Inn. It's a tavern. It's an extra and a steady source of income. It requires an investment of 30,000 Nottingham currency. This will also be provided by the barons against an interest rate of 2%. The revenues of this of the Rob Inn will consist of a fixed rent price that will be paid by the renter, and additionally a variable fee that consists of 20% of the profits that the renter will make. The growth of the tavern is also influenced by the growth of the toll road. As the tavern is on the toll road, the revenues of the tavern will increase as the revenue of the toll road will increase as well. The involved costs in this tavern are the interest costs that are on the loan and amortization, which will be 6,000 Nottingham currency as we want to pay off the loan in 5 years. And of course the tax costs on the revenues that we make. Well, to give you a clear overview on how much profit we can expect, we have the profit chart. The green line will be the total profits that our operation will make. As you can see, in the first 3 years it will face a small decline due to the huge decrease in the robbing activities. But as you can see, the toll road and the tavern profit will increase over the year, and as of year 4 we will reach a break even where the legal activities eventually will take over for our old activities. And as of year 4 you can see that the profit will rise again and eventually will have a steady growth. And last but not least, the most important aspect is the dividend payout, because that's what the whole organization is about, by returning shareholder value. This is in the old situation, at least in the current situation. If we stick to the plan, if we stick to the strategy that we have now, you can see that our total payout of dividends will get below target already as of the beginning as it is now. The target is stated at £15 per year, and if we don't do anything about the strategy that we have now, it will only suffer more. However, in our new strategy, the dividend payout will be already much higher from the start. As the target here is 15, it starts off much higher, and even though our revenues and eventual profits will decrease over the first years, we will still remain above target, and as of year 4 it will eventually increase again, and we can return a higher value to our shareholders. To conclude, I will give the floor to our CEO.
Thank you all guys for your presentations today and your general overview of the situation. I would like to thank you all for being here today. Now we're gonna start the question session, so feel free to ask whatever pops up in your mind.
I have a question for the financial department. You said you were going to pay taxes, but I assume your activities are not fully legal and you don't legally own the forest, and the sheriff is basically your competitor, so why are you going to pay tax?
We actually want to move forward to being a fully legal operation. We want to start paying taxes on our new legal activities that we will have. This will also create kind of a goodwill with the sheriff and eventually might benefit future relations.
Okay, so I have a question for the marketing director. How are you going to increase the marketing attractiveness?
First of all, the market is going to increase because our customers will choose our safe roads instead of the other roads where there is a chance that they will get robbed. This will lead to an increase of sales.
Okay, thank you. Well, following your answer, but how do you intend to increase the ownership of the plan? I mean, who's going to own the plan?
Okay, as we can see from this organigram, Scarlett will be the people in charge of marketing, together with the toll road. So actually, all our marketing efforts are going to be addressed mainly to this person.
So I'd like to ask a question for the finance manager. Why you have the tax rate of 20%?
Yes, that's a good question. We estimated the tax rate based on the comparing other companies who might on what tax they might pay. We know that the sheriff takes the highest percentage of tax from the poor people, so the richer and wealthier organizations have to pay a lower percentage. Because of that, our estimation ended up around 20%.
I have a question in general. How will you find the person who will rent the tavern?
Smart question, but since there are a lot of people suffering from the high tax rates from the sheriff, they are all willing to eventually make more money, and by becoming an entrepreneur, by using our tavern, they don't need to make the necessary investments and they can earn more money than they would do before.
I have a question for the management department. Why choosing a centralized organization?
First of all, the old organizational structure used a centralized approach. And this is something that we want to keep. We already made a lot of changes and we don't want to make changes in the organizational approach. So we're going to keep it centralized. And this is also because Robinhood is a person who wants to have everything under his control. He needs to be involved in all of the departments. And
okay, I was wondering how you aim to develop your business further in the future.
Okay, so basically, since the first option, the first road that we are going to build will not be the best option available on the market anyway, because as you can see, this is not a straightforward road from point A to point B. So we are actually reserving room for improvement for ourselves. I would like to thank you all for your participation today, for your questions, and obviously for your answers. If you do have any further questions, just send me a bird and I will.
Well, first of all, the market is going to increase because more and more people use the safe roads because it brings them a lot of advantage.